How I hope the crypto coaching company add an additional 138K a month with just one DM setter and without changing whatever was already working. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what I did for this client, how they were running a webinar funnel that was already doing 150K a month, and I added an additional 138K a month and getting them close to 300K a month by just supplementing what was already working and just by one DM setter that was on retainer. So let's get into it. So what this client was already doing was running a webinar funnel, getting their ads to a webinar funnel. It was a crypto coaching offer and getting them on a webinar to a 90-minute presentation and selling them on the webinar without the sales call, like webinar to the checkout. All they had already was a DM setter. They didn't have any closure and they were already doing pretty good. And this was during the bull market. So the market was already kind of pre-sold and they were in a good position. What I did was I came in and added a low ticket funnel in front of what they were already doing. Why? Because they were struggling with actually getting qualified people on the webinar. They were getting a lot of broke people on the webinar. The show rates were going down, the close rates were going down, and overall the economics were just going down with the webinar. People just got aware of the sales processes, and they were just so much harder to sell on the webinar. So what I did was I told them that they should launch a self-liquidating low ticket funnel on the front end, which gets them buyers for free, gets them buyers, not freebies. So buyers actually show up to the webinar, they actually buy on the webinar, and they are so much pre-sold on you and your methodology, and they know you, like you, and trust you. So what I did for them was, first of all, created a low ticket product. And to create a low ticket product, there is a mini checklist I go through. You don't need to create a crazy low ticket product. It doesn't have to take you weeks to make it. It should take you max 2 days to have a good low ticket product. Even less than 1 day. It could take you like 2 hours if you have like dedicated time and focus to make it. So to create a good low ticket product, what you have to do is your low ticket product should identify a bleeding neck problem your market is facing. And so look at your market now, look at your ICP and see what is one problem that they're facing and they would pay to solve it. So make your low ticket product revolve that around that problem, or give that solution that your market needs. And your low ticket product should solve that problem, or give them that solution under 60 minutes of them buying the low ticket product, which means that it should get them a win as soon as possible. And it doesn't need to be a financial win. It could be like any sort of win. It could be a financial win, emotional, educational, any sort of win. And as soon as they get that win, they see you as an instant authority in the market. You should also hit these 4 emotions: new, easy, safe, and big. You should minimize belief, time, and investment limitations, right? So can they actually do it? Your low ticket product should minimize those beliefs, all the limiting beliefs they have from themselves. It should help them shorten their learning curve, shorten their kind of time to get where they want to go. And with the investment limitation, we kind of naturally overcome that with the low ticket product because it is priced from $17 to $27. And does the low ticket product solve? And this is for the later, right? And it could be any of these formats. It could be like an ebook, could be a challenge, could be a webinar, could be a masterclass, or you could bundle all of that into one low ticket product and just over deliver. Now, once you have a good low ticket product that the market is hungry to pay for, that a hungry market wants, what you need to do is price it at 14, like $17 to $27. With this client, I actually tested different price points, and 14.95 was the best one. It worked really well, and we went with that. Now, what you need to do is take them to a page like this, like with the headline and the VSL on the left, product section on the right, and the price should be really upfront. You could also set the price in the ads itself, and you should have to be really direct about what this is for. Just say what is the strategy, blah 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 blah. The page is really simple. You're just showing the testimonials really upfront, and the conversion rate on this page was about, let me check, I forgot actually. So we got about 9.81% opt-in, which is pretty solid. And out of that, we had like about a 50%, 50% conversion on the checkout. So we had like pretty decent conversion on this page. And yeah, this is how your page needs to be. Now, after the people buy the low ticket product, you need to have at least 1 to 2 order bumps. I would say like have at least 2 order bumps. I would add like 1 more order bump over here for them to actually help with their AOV. But with this client, I added 1 order bump. The order bump was like top 20 crypto buy and holds, and we had about a what was our take rate? We had like a pretty solid 25 to 30% take rate on that as well, which increased our average order value to $24. So we are acquiring this customer for let me take you to the screenshots of so I don't have the screenshots on me right now. Wait, let me just pull that up. So with this client, you as you can see, their like cost per acquisition was really cheap. It was like $48, like around $50 for this client, and we are already liquidating 50% of our ad spend over here, right? Our average order value is $24. So as you can see, we were already liquidating our ads 50% of our ad spend before even getting them to the upsells or our webinar, right? So we're already like getting buyers for half the price. We're getting a buyer for $25. Your cost per lead for the webinar is like $10. You're getting a buyer for $25, which is pretty solid. Now after that, we take them to a one-time upsell, one-time OTO. The price for this OTO was $197. We had about a 23% take rate on that. And I'll go through the behind the scenes of the OTO, how this works, how we structured the OTO, and how you can, do this for yourself. I'll share the framework with that. But let me just run you through the math real quick, right? The cost per acquisition, like I said, was $50 to $60, and our front end was $24, right? So we were already liquidating 50% of our ad spend. Out of that, we had a 23% take rate conversion on the one-time OTO, which adds an additional breaking even, right? And some days even profitable on our ad spend. So we are acquiring a customer for $50 to $60. Let's just say $60 just for you, right? And we are already like kind of profiting on the front end, right? We were getting buyers for free over here. Now, the way we structured the OTO was pretty simple, right? We said, okay, you could do 2 headlines, right? I tested 2 of these. This one worked really well, but you can also have something like this, right? Or don't leave this page. If you leave this page, your order will cancel. We have something special for you before you access your account. Something like that, right? Something that, just gets them to keep watching the video. Now, I had this video where I had a timer, actually, as you can see. I had a timer over here. And out of that, like, they were like, it was a forced VSL, right? So they had to watch the VSL before actually, seeing the upsell. So the upsell was like this, right? First, the structure was that it should affirm what they bought. It should then show them a new problem that low ticket after buying the low ticket. It should reveal the new solution, and then it should close, right? But before using this structure, you could have the best structure, best copy for the upsell. But if you don't do this thing right here that I said I'm going to talk about later, it's not going to work, right? So does your low ticket product solve problem A that naturally reveals problem B? So also one thing I forgot to talk about was your low ticket product should solve one problem A, that naturally leads to the upsell, right? So when you go buy a dishwasher, you need that little soap thing, right, for the dishwasher, right? So that could be like your mini order number, mini upsell, or like something like that, right? Your product A low ticket should just naturally reveal the problem B, right? So with this client, what we did was, congratulations on buying the low ticket product. You've made the most important decision for yourself. You're gonna do this and do that, and have all of these good things, right, in your life. But then say that, okay, what you just did was the second most important decision you just made, because the most important decision you're gonna make for your crypto journey is right now in this page, right? They're like, what is that, right? And then say, okay, and then say, we introduce new problems, right? Okay, what you just did was the second most important decision, because what I'm about to show you was never the part of the plan. You see, most people who bought our low ticket product, say the name of the low ticket product, most people who bought our low ticket product got results, right? And then you say, okay, XYZ person did this, XYZ person did this, XYZ person did this. But still, there were a few group of people who were not able to get the results. And I did a survey, and out of that survey, I got to know that they liked the strategy, then blah, 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 right? If we have 4 answers, and then at the end you say, they just couldn't implement it. Not because the book was bad, not because the information was bad, just because they didn't know how to implement it, because they were different, their time zone is different, their strategy is different, they're different, their account size is different, right? All of that is different, and figuring all of that takes time. So what if I just gave you my entire trading strategy, my entire setup, my entire coin selection, all of that stuff, and you could just copy and paste my strategy? That was the upsell, right? So as you can see, you affirm them on buying the low ticket product, show them all the sunshine and rainbows, and say how great of a decision they just made. Then introduce a new problem, right, where it comes down. Okay, you bought the low ticket, but actually implementing it is a different thing, right? And going to all the micro problems that come with it, and have kind of a proof to back it up, right? Show like a survey, but you don't have to do it. I just did it for like extra conversions, yeah. And then reveal your own solution, right, which is the one-time upsell, like my fast track trading program, a fast track. Like just give it a good name, and then you close it. Actually, it should be like a one-time upsell, right? You don't have to lie over here, like otherwise they're gonna lose trust. If it is not a one-time upsell, you don't have to say it is a one-time deal. You can get away with that. You can just have the link in your low ticket course to that. They can buy it from there too. But yeah, from here we got about like we were breaking even over here, right? Some days like we're not profiting, some days we're breaking even, some days we're actually kind of losing money. But over the course of like 3 months, we were actually breaking even with this, right? So you are getting leads for $10 for the webinar. They were actually getting their CPL, their cost per lead for the webinar was $10. They're getting buyers for free, right? Out of that, right, I said one DM setter only took. So when the people bought the low ticket product, we had email upsells, email sequences in the backend running, right? They were also like upselling to the OTO. And then they were also like, pushing the webinar. They were introducing the webinar that they were running in the back end. Also, we had SMSs, SMS sequences asking how they liked the Logic product, if they actually implemented it, what their biggest takeaway was. As they replied, then we got our DM setter to, kind of go back and forth with them and introduce the webinar. Out of that, we had like so many people show up in the webinar. Like every single week, we were getting free show ups, free people showing up in the webinar. And this was the strategy. Email 1 to 2 times a day for the low ticket implementation, like actually like help them implement the low ticket product. Storytelling about the guru, case studies, you have YouTube videos, and you're slowly introducing the webinar. And you also have like SMSs, like I said. And you also like with the Logic product, you can also add them to a school community or a Facebook community for better ascension. Now we pushed all of them to a webinar landing page just to track how many people are showing up and all that stuff, and then get them. And it is the same strategy they were running. It is a typical webinar, and we had no closers at all. Only one DM setter. That's it. One webinar a week and one DM setter. Now I'm not saying that everyone can do this. They were in a bull market. It was a biz offer, and these people already had a lot of ad spend. They already had a proven offer. They already had a warm audience to start out with, to test the low ticket out with, and they didn't have like they already had a proven offer, and they were also like the market was in their favor because they were in a bull market. People were already pre-sold, kind of. But I'm not saying any of this is normal. You can't just do this. Like there's a lot of people doing it, but it takes a lot of skill to pull off a low ticket, profitable low ticket product. But yeah, we got about 745 low ticket buyers on the front end in the course of 3 months. Out of that, we got 95 high ticket buyers from that, which is a 12% ascension rate, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. On average, with low ticket products, you have about a 3 to 5% ascension rate. And with this, we had about a 12% ascension rate, which is pretty crazy. And then we push them to a 3,000, 4,000 program. Right now it says 5,000 because the price increased. Back in that time it was about 4,000. So yeah, this is it. If you guys need a low ticket done for you services, if you guys need consultation on your low ticket, if you guys need any advice on your low ticket funnels, if you guys need a done for you services, done with you services for low ticket implementation, I'm gonna link down my website ascensioneconomist.com. You can go over there, fill out a quick survey of where you are, what you want to do, and where you are at, and then we can book a call. And then you're going to give me your money, and I'm going to solve your problems. Bye-bye. Talk soon.